So, you've probably clicked on this video because you are either going through, or you think you're going through, or you've already gone through some sort of spiritual awakening. And to that I say, congrats. Yeah, welcome. That's cool. That's awesome. This video is going to be about some things that maybe I wish I would have known when I was really first starting to go through that process. And to give a little background, I'm probably about 3 years in what I would consider consciously being, I guess after that first really big spiritual awakening experience. But I guess you could argue I've been on that journey my entire life as well. And there were certainly some other things that kind of knocked at the door a little bit before that. But I've been going through it now, and there's a lot of shit out there. There's a lot of weird stuff, and like I said, I'm here to just make this video in maybe a bit of a different way than you're used to seeing these types of videos made. I guess maybe the first thing that I want to talk about is that you're not late. You're right on time. This is exactly where you're supposed to be. There's nothing that could have brought you here any sooner. There's also no going back. I think that's a pretty important one too. I ask myself that question sometimes. I'm like, damn, if I could go back, would I do that? Do I want to do that? And sometimes it seems like it'd be easier to say yes. But the good news is that you actually don't have a choice. Now that you're here, now that you think you're going through it, you just kind of got to deal with it. And there might have been a number of things that brought you here too. Maybe it was, a big psychedelic or plant medicine experience. Maybe it was yoga. Maybe it was meditation. Maybe it was breath work. Maybe it was a near-death experience. Maybe some dude on the public transportation, if people still take that, just said something and you're like, yo, what the fuck? Maybe you've been sleepwalking for the last 3 days of your life or something like that. Either way, there's a number of reasons that you could have been brought here to any sort of spiritual awakening experience. But now that your spirit is awakened, there's probably so many questions that you have, and maybe so much information that you want to learn. And it can be really exciting, and it can be really daunting, and it could be kind of scary at the same time. When I first kind of started my experience, I got into what I would say the spiritual community. And finding a community of like-minded people to help guide you through the experience is key. Definitely seek that out. And at the same time, don't get too attached to that group, and also don't be disappointed if it's not really what you thought it would be, or the people that you're now surrounding yourself with don't quite seem to be aligned with what it is you're going through, or understand. Because I remember when I was first starting to meet people in the spiritual community and all that stuff, I still kind of felt like I didn't quite fit in, and there's this weird pressure to now make your whole fucking life about this. Don't do that. You don't gotta make your whole life about being all spiritual and having the spiritual awakening, all that stuff too. It's just something that happened. It's just something that you did, and now you're here. But there can be this pressure too to be really fucking serious about it. Okay, cool, now you gotta meditate, and you gotta journal, and you gotta do these courses, and you gotta read these books, and you gotta yada yada yada, and whew, just take a breath, relax. There's nothing, you don't gotta do any of that shit, fucking none of it. I remember even before I made this video, I was looking to see what kind of videos are out on this, and I swear there are 12 stages of spiritual awakening. Then there's 5 stages of spiritual awakening, and 4 stages, and 6 stages, and if there's all these videos about all of these differing stages, that means all of them are just inherently fucking incorrect. And like, you don't gotta do all the research and like listen to any of that. Do it if it feels like aligned with you, but like, don't feel the pressure that you need to do that for some reason, because now you're spiritual and now you want to fit in and understand what these other spiritual gurus and whatever the fuck they call themselves, because you just want to like do what they're doing. What I wish I knew, let me keep thinking about that. Yeah, it's that like, do everything on your own time. Like, don't rush into any of this stuff. And also, like, maybe don't follow like some of those gurus, like, you know, Aubrey Marcus and Joe Dispenza and like, you know, all those people. They're great. They've got some great information, and it can be really tempting to want to start going down those rabbit holes and like following certain people. But the whole part about spiritual awakening is like, you're discovering yourself. You're discovering your own spirit. And your spirit is different from that spirit. And everybody's spirit is different from everybody else's. So this is your own personal journey that you get to go on. And like I said, it's also, you don't need to make your whole life about being a spirit and having a spiritual journey. I see so many people in the spiritual community that talk about like ascending to the higher planes, and now you're living in 5D consciousness, and all that stuff. And you're still a fucking human right now. Like, you've got more than enough time for that when you're dead. When you're dead, you can have all the time in the world to understand what it means to be a spirit floating around in space, experiencing 5D consciousness and all of the other dimensions and whatever the fuck else this universe has to offer. But right now, if you're watching this video, that means you are a human being, and you get the experience of being a human being right now in whatever body that you're in, which is perfect. And this is the experience that you are supposed to be having. And we still got motherfucking bills to pay. We still gotta eat food. We still gotta shit. We still gotta sleep every single day. We came here to be a human. Don't forget to be a human. That's one of the best parts about having a spiritual awakening, is that for so long you've been a human, and you've only thought that you were a human. And now you've maybe gone through this spiritual awakening, and you realize, oh shit, I'm not just a human, I also have a spirit. But now you get to understand what it's like to be a spirit inside of a human. And there's so many cool things we get to do as humans that I don't believe you get to do when you're just a spirit. So don't forget to enjoy the human experience. And the cool thing about the human experience is that there's literally nothing that you can do wrong. Like, nothing whatsoever. Every single thing that you do in your life right now is neither correct nor incorrect. Everything just is. So like, I remember I felt like I was just really late to not living the life I wanted to live. But then realizing that me feeling like I didn't want to live the life I wanted to live was exactly the life I was supposed to be living at that time. And then it just takes the pressure off from like having to do really anything, man. Like, just live your goddamn life. And it can be a bit unsettling. Like, you know, having a spiritual awakening, it's like terrifying. Like, it's like a death in a way. Like, a part of you that thought something has now realized that there's been something else this entire time. And that can be really hard to grapple with. And again, community is one of the things that I would definitely try to lean on. Like, find like-minded people that understand it in the way that you want to understand it, but don't succumb to the pressure to now start talking a certain way and like dressing a certain way with like, you know, long hippie shit. Like, I wear this because after years of doing this, I realized that I really like this type of clothing. Wow. words. But you don't have to do that. Like, you don't got to get one of those hats with the fucking probably like endangered bird feathers in it that so many people in this community wear, and start dressing in shawls and like shit like that, and change every single thing about yourself to try to fit in with those people who think that that's what they need to do to be spiritual, and start praying to all the Hindu gods and learning about Buddhism and Taoism and like all of the things. Like, do those things if you want to do those things, but not because you feel like you need to do those things in order to be spiritual. Like, now that you're here and you've, again, had a spiritual awakening, you just are spiritual. Even if you haven't had a spiritual awakening and you're watching this video, you're still spiritual. There's nothing that anybody could do to tell you that you're not. So yeah, live your life. Don't be worried if some of the communities that you get into and start meeting people aren't exactly what you thought they were or wanted them to be. And you might try to keep going to like fit in and think, no, like this is me, this is what I want to do, to just only eventually later be like, yeah, no, that wasn't exactly me. But that was an experience. It's not like you did anything wrong if you do any of those things. And try to, learn from all the gurus and whatever the fuck those people. But yeah, one of the biggest parts about my spiritual journey has been learning not to take everything so seriously, not to succumb to those pressures from the many gurus out there within this community that have all the answers, because nobody has all the answers. You're the only one with the answers for what you should do. So even everything that I'm saying right now, like, take it all with a grain of salt. Don't take this as gospel. Not that anybody would take me babbling on this video as absolute gospel, but yeah, this is just to show you, like, it's cool, man. Whatever you're going through is cool. I get it. I've been there. I still feel like I'm going through it sometimes. And it doesn't really end. And I don't think it ever really ends. Maybe when we die, I don't think it ends, but I think it changes. But yeah, enjoy the ride. Enjoy being human. Welcome. And glad to have you here with us. And so, yeah, would appreciate it if you liked this video and subscribed to my channel. And talking about community, I've got a private Patreon if you want to connect with me and connect with some other like-minded souls on this beautiful earth journey right now. But yeah, you're perfect. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And I'll see you next video.